Are Ironguts any good in patch 5.0? This is relevant not just because this is the best infantry unit you can get from basic Ogre settlements, but it's also heavily discounted for Greasus Goldtooth. My first campaign was really hard because it took so long to get a safe area to get more than a tier 2 camp in. So how do Ironguts compare? Let's open the Ogre's mouth and look inside. Recruited for 1100 gold and 275 upkeep. Unless you're Greasus with minus 50% upkeep, Ironguts come in at 16 entities on Ultra, markedly less than Ogre Bulls. At 9,280 health unit wide, that's 580 health per entity, beefier than Minotaurs, and that's a lot of beef. Armor is a very sturdy 100, leadership is a pretty solid 70, speed the usual 54, charge speed 85, and that's despite the heavy increase in armor. Melee attack begins at 36 with an attack interval of 3.8, lower than usual so less downtime between animations. Regardless of whether the animations are longer, people usually assert that's the case, you see, animations can knock targets down, so they matter for locking opponents in place. Splash target size is medium, and max entities damaged by splash is 3 per ogre, which matters a lot because 16 entities versus 24. Melee defense is 38, greatly increasing the staying power versus Ogre Bulls, even the Iron Fists. Weapon strength is given as 100, split between 30 base and 70 armor piercing, with a bonus versus infantry of 5. 5 is extremely mild, substantially lower than Ogre Bulls with dual weapons, but the armor piercing itself is very sweet, so base 41 to hit is not something to complain about if you're fighting, let's say, dwarfs. Charge bonus is 46, and mass is 1800, more than the average Ogre unit. The usual Ogre traits of Siege Attacker, Wall Breaker causes fear, and Ogre Charge are present. So what about the redline skills? Best Eaters brings a maximum of plus 6 melee attack and plus 6 melee defense for Ironguts, which is just amazing. I mean, these have a lot more inherent staying power, so charge bonus isn't the biggest problem, nor is weapon strength a matter of special concern, but connecting offensively and causing defensive whiffs? Absolutely top tier. Like Ogre Bulls, Ironguts benefit from richly rewarded, gaining 10 extra armor, 6 extra leadership, and 12% more weapon strength at rank 7 if this skill is enabled. In the tech tree, the only tech specifically improving Ironguts is Choosiest Weapons, adding a plus 10% weapon strength bonus. So how do you use Ironguts? That part is easy! While they absolutely benefit from charging into opponents from effective angles, they are far better at staying and fighting than the Young Bulls, shredding more elite infantry, at least to a much greater extent. Add something as basic as plus 10 melee attack from a meat donation to them all, and they become full-on dwarf killers. Given the weakness of Ogre Bulls against heavy armor, that's something you need and want. Now, how do they do against everything else? Hey, the bonus versus infantry is only 5. They're not specially effective against large targets, but nor are they at all weak. For what you're paying, they're reliable, powerful, and chew up pretty armor worn by gaudy knights just fine. In practice, no doubt you'll end up using them a lot with other units, both because their splash damage only has certain reach, and because they're even worse to face mixed in with Noblard troops, preventing the opponent from easily getting the damage onto them. Such tactics are simple, but don't knock them. In the end, Ironguts are one of your earliest units that can truly stand and fight in crowded quarters and do well for themselves, so you want to use them as a pillar of the fight and work around their stalwart support. Take care, and have fun rejecting sword and mace with the power of your abs.